Ladies and gentlemen, throughout my day, I have listened to two Chris Williamson podcasts. Um, the first one, and they're both very recent, so if you want to go check those out, go ahead. First one was with Alex Hormozy. Incredible podcast. So many wonderful lessons to be learned from that one. And then just barely I finished the... Let me pull it up actually. I just finished the podcast Chris Williamson did with... where'd it go? My apologies. I'll find it. Give me a sec. Yep, Paul Hutchinson. Incredible. I'm extremely inspired right now. And I think the only reason I want to make this video is to not give you all the lessons I learned in them, because that would take away from their content. And by there, I mean Chris Williamson's content, but there because they had guests. That would just take away from it and also defeat the point. Like, you're supposed to, watch or listen to them to learn the stuff. It's a lot more valuable that way. But my biggest takeaway right now, as I'm in nearing the end of my youth, I think it's very important that I think ahead a lot, and I mean I have been. It's a bit of a stressful thing. If any of you are nearing the end of your high school days, your reign, then I think you would understand. But as the childhood journey kind of comes to a close, or begins to. It's not coming to a close yet. It's only the beginning of school, but the final chapter is the final pages. There you go. And by final, it could be a final couple hundred pages. Get out of here, you goober. The final couple of pages, or a couple hundred, they're coming around to end this chapter, right? And I'm thinking a lot about where I want to go. But these two podcasts taught me a couple of things. First one with Alex Hormozy talked a lot about just being able to throw it all away, because without the unknown, without mystery, life is pointless and all your goals are pointless. So if your goals are very doable, like if you can give a plan, like say if my goal, it can't be a goal as simple and straightforward and 100% secure. So the camera's here, sorry. 100% secure as I'm going to put my phone down. I successfully did it, and I knew I was capable of doing it. Versus, pulling out a loan and starting a business, right? Starting up, I don't know, like he did, starting up a gym or whatnot, right? Now you got to take that risk of, well, you just took out a loan, so now you're in debt, right? But you also started this business idea, which you think is very original, so maybe not a gym, but very original. You have this brand that you think is very original and it's going to take off, but you have to take that risk to lose the money to see if you can just absolutely, blow it out of the water, right? That kind of mentality, and I struggle with that a lot. Going to the gym, when I first wanted to start going to the gym, is honestly for me, it was a pretty probable, just manageable goal, and it's worked out, right? It wasn't crazy. Yeah, it took discipline and willpower. And if you want to watch Hamza's discipline and willpower guide, those are two separate videos. They're phenomenal, life-changing. Please, go ahead and watch those. Incredible. But that wasn't a crazy goal. And still, yeah, the gym is the kind of thing where what I did a couple months ago was really, really easy, and it doesn't challenge me, but I have to step it up and mentally push myself. But that's a habit, and I think that rather than habits are these practices that I don't know if you can make them so much habitual because they're big practices. And I'm talking about mostly like purpose meditations and purpose journaling and, okay, please, Stinky, come here. Stinky, come here. There you go. So, let's get to it. I'm going to brush over this, okay? But the only reason I'm making this video is to kind of manifest the start of, this is my last year of high school. I've got a lot to do and a lot to think about. But a week ago, I sat in my room for I set a timer, but I didn't go through the whole timer because I had something to do. But I do intend on doing this again in the future with less to do during that day, so I can be completely whatever. Right? Oh, sorry. Uh, you know, undeterred from my work. And I sat here with paper and pen, and I put on my noise canceling. They're not headphones. They're like a headset, I guess. Right. Like the type of dookie you wear while shooting rifles. But I wrote about 2 pages worth of stuff, just thinking, brainstorming, what do I want to do, and I got a little bit closer to where I want to go. I was giving a prompt. I was kind of hoping for a task, and I think this is actually where I should be. And maybe if you're feeling the same way, Hamza used to always talk, and still does, like, talk about or used to especially talk all the time about, if you want to find your purpose, you need to sit in a room with paper and pen for hours and hours. And I tried it, and I realized that I'm going to need to try it again and again, repeatedly, over and over again until I feel like I get closer. This time was a prompt. It was not a task that I was expecting. It was a way of life. It was kind of a mantra. It went along the lines of I want to love, I want to serve, I want to teach, and a couple of other things along those lines. But that's not a task. But I narrowed down a lot of things. I narrowed down goals that I had that maybe weren't necessarily mine originally. Not to say that they were bad goals, but they were goals placed upon me, like the future house that I want, or starting a business. I don't know if I ever would have started a business if I hadn't discovered self-improvement. I wouldn't be thinking in that mindset, I don't think. But then again, also working a regular job is also something that would have been placed upon me simply because of schooling, right? So these are things that are implanted onto, into my brain, and I have to figure out what's really me, right? And I think finding a eternal companion, a wife, I think that is something that I probably would have. I've always been a very romantic fella, so I just think that that's something I would have always wanted. And I'm not actually. Wait. My journal's over there, so I'm not actually looking at it. I'm just, trying to recall what I wrote. Things along those lines, goals that I have or wanting to provide, right? Right now in my life, I really like the idea of having children, which is interesting, right? I'm still in high school, but that is a huge goal that I have. That's one of my motivators, is to become the absolute greatest man I can become an absolute beast for the sake of my own children. That's to give them the best possible odds. Not to give them an easy life, but to give them one worth living. If that makes any sense, right? Give them the lessons that would make their life worth living. And that's going to take a lot of practice. And, I have to work on myself to destroy any generational trauma. Every family, every bloodline has generational trauma. And it's laziness to neglect that and accept it. No, that's mediocrity. And so, anyways, I'm getting off track. But what I'm trying to say here is, first time around I get a prompt. It's a mantra for me. And I intend on doing this every so many weeks to see if I can narrow down this mantra into a task for the time, right? Closer to the layer. And we'll see where this goes. So I make this video mostly to just talk about how awesome I feel, because I've learned a lot today, but also, to manifest, like, this is the beginning of a journey or a cycle or whatever I'll end up calling it. But I just find that really, really interesting that I wanted to talk about that. But yeah, so if you do that practice, and I really suggest you do, I think it's really important to hear as little noise as possible and just go to war with your mind and your demons, and see where your pen and paper will take you. But don't be discouraged if you don't get a task. I was a little nervous at first, like, this isn't something I can do now. But I think maybe for now it's so I can stretch myself by trying to find creative ways to follow this mantra, follow this prompt. So, anywho, I think I only touched on the Alex Hormozy one, but that was one of my biggest takeaways was just like oh my gosh, the ability to take risk and to throw it all away for the sake of living the journey that life is, and to not let, there's so many lessons, so I'm gonna try to not spill them all, but not let other external sources impact your decisions, and not let other people control your life. And what that means, more importantly, is people can tell you what to do, but not letting other people's judgment or the possibility of their judgment tell you what to do. So that's even like my own parents, right? If my parents wanted me to go to college and I said, no, I want to start this business, am I going to take that risk, or am I going to cave in and go to college? You know, and not that college is a bad thing. That's just an example, right? But nonetheless, there's that, right? There's that takeaway. The other one I'm thinking about really, really quick is from the one with Paul Hutchinson. I want to do something very important in this life. Hearing Paul's story about how he took the risk from being this regular old, man in business. And by regular old, I just mean like your average businessman, right? But he had a lot of money. He's successful. But being able to devote his life to something so dangerous, so risky, but so incredibly important. And if you're wondering what that thing was, he was an undercover, he worked undercover to help, bust, child traffickers. Incredible story. If you want, and that's the Sound of Freedom movie that just came out is about him. Generally, I don't know why they do, based off a true story, just tell me the dang story, right? But people, unlike myself, don't like documentaries. I only like documentaries. But, anyways, half brains. I don't know. People are lame, man. I love documentaries. It's the only crap I like to watch. But anyways, just incredible. Hearing the type of situation that he was willing to put himself in for the overall good of humanity is really life-changing to hear, and it just really makes me want to amount to something. And it's not so I can say, so people can look up to me and say that I was awesome, because I don't even take compliments that well, to the extent that I get a compliment, and sometimes I just don't really know how much it means. You know what I mean? I don't really care that much about other people's validation, which is why my wall looks like that, right? And if you could see this wall, it's even worse. I don't really care about other people's opinions so much, or just the way I'm viewed. I wear the other day, it was last Friday, so actually yesterday, I wore a size XL Hawaiian shirt to school. Do you want to know how tall I am? I actually don't know how tall I am. I'm under 6 foot, about 100 and... Well, I'm kind of cutting right now. So I'm actually... Okay, here you go. So I'm around 5... I think I'm just short of 5'7", right? And someone out there's going to be like, short! Oops. And then well, weight's not that important, but I'm sitting around the 125 range, which is pretty light. That's kind of because I've been cutting, though. I've actually been losing weight, which is really rare for a skinny guy to lose weight. But nonetheless, just to prove the point, I wore a size XL Hawaiian shirt to school the other day just because, thought it'd be fun. Is that what kind of other neeness do you see wearing a size XL Hawaiian shirt? Maybe the alt girl. I don't even think the alt girl in your class would be wearing that crap. That's just me. Because I don't really care. I just think it's fun. I'm not trying to be totally quirky or anything. I just feel like, giant Hawaiian shirt. How nice. And then I throw that shiz on. So, what I'm trying to say is, I ramble a lot, man. But what I'm trying to get at is I really want to make an impact on the world, not because I want people to look up to me. I simply just feel like being able to... Well, adrenaline's kind of fun, but two, just being able to kind of risk it all for the sake of the greater good. the world is mediocre and people are not willing. People can get inspired by a video like this or the podcast I listen to. With like, yeah, for the greater good, yeah. But they're just living through other people. They're living through their own thoughts. They're not actually doing anything. You're just a mediocre person living a normal life and a normal job, and all you care about, all you work towards is your own free time, right? That's all you really want is free time. But as I'm starting to learn more, free time is actually not that useful. The time where everybody is the happiest is when they're working on something they want to, not relaxing, but or not even like playing, but when you're working on something that means a lot to you, which to the best of men, the most successful of folks, work is their play because they do what they want, and that's what I want. So I just wanted to say, that's a phone call. I just wanted to kind of get that out there, right? As I'm kind of starting to get close to adulthood, I'm thinking a lot about the future that I want to build for myself. And I think it'd be in your best. I'm hoping that most of my audience is of younger folk as well as I am. And like kind of get that thought in your mind, right? Kind of get that idea across that like now's the time to get thinking. Had to pause. What was I even talking about? Thinking about like what I want to amount to, right? Because I have one life here, and we're not gonna get into like religious beliefs or anything, but we're gonna talk about like the life that I'm living at this very second, right? Or the concept of this life, right? I only have this one, and I'm not gonna waste it, right? There's no reason to be comfortable. And I know this one is hard for all people, but there really is no reason to be comfortable because everybody's comfortable. But everybody's bored or depressed or sick or fat or underweight or unhappy, purposeless, and just okay. Like some people are just okay. And there's 8 billion people in this world. And when I say I guess when I say that I'm mostly referring to like the Western world. Life's very different in other countries. But arguably better. People with less money tend to be happier simply because they have to work more, but which is more purpose. People are more purposeful. Because core values mean a lot more to them. Like family means a lot more to somebody in a third world country than it does to us in the West in general. I'm not saying completely, but in general. Things like that, right? We don't have a lot of core values here because I don't know, we have money, so we don't need to think much about values. Cares about that. But anyways, I don't know. I'm feeling very inspired and I want to do important things with my life. I got a long way to go. And I'm just starting my story, right? I'm just building it, but I want to do big things. And I hope you can kind of say the same for yourself. There's just no reason to live a okay life or a good life. Why not live an incredible life? Why not live out this incredible journey when you are just doing the things that put you in the peak human experience, which, as Hamza has said, and a lot of focus flow state gurus have said it is the flow state. It's when there's no thoughts in your head and you are just doing. You're doing what you were built to do. You were born to do this thing. So there you go, guys. I'm done. There's my rant. Okay. So I hope you feel like a little bit not motivated, but just a little encouraged, right? Because it's scary, man, right? As a high schooler, it's really scary to think about your future. But it's coming, right? And you can either wait it off until it shows up or just prep for it now. Start building it now. That's it. That's all you can do, right? David Yuta, I think I said this in my last video too. You can either take part in the sacrifice because you were born as a sacrifice. You can either take part in it and give your gifts willingly and like embrace the pain of your impending death, or you can just wait it off and feel the pain of the sacrifice. You either take place in it and be a part of like actively take part in the sacrifice, or you just feel pain and a little miserable and sit around and wait for, the sacrifice to be done. So anyways, all right, that's my video. I hope you feel awesome, and I want to do big things. You should too. All right. Okay. See ya.